Hello, it's Rob Pear again from Harlem Lofts. This is our update, the COVID-19 update. We're in week 10 or 11 of this. We're doing weekly updates. Who are we? I'm Rob Pear. My bio's online if you want to check that out. I don't want to get into those details now, but I've been doing this for 22 years, focusing in Upper Manhattan. Who's Harlem Lofts? Harlem Lofts is a company that focuses strictly on townhouses and condominiums in the Upper Manhattan market and has done so for 20 years. What are we going to talk about? Well, we're going to talk about the weekly updates on where the townhouse and condo and a little bit about rentals, where that market is right now. We've been updating during the current situation. We normally do weekly seminars or we do monthly seminars, and that's based on our reports. Our company has been doing market reports, as you can see behind me, on the market, the Harlem market, for over a decade, and what we're doing now is weekly updates just to keep you informed because of the changes and uniqueness of this particular crisis. All right, so let's get right into it. We're going to start with the townhouse market. Townhouses, my favorite. What do we have here? I've got some notes. So what we're going to talk about, three things. We're going to talk about the number of sales during the past 10, 11 weeks during the COVID crisis. We're going to talk about the sales volume, and then we're going to talk about the listings that are on the market and what's happening to them. So we'll jump right to it. Right now we have 9 sales within the past 11 weeks. So let me back up. This is going to go from March 15th to May 28th, so 12 weeks. And that's the data that we're going to use. So we've had 9 sales this year in 2020 during this period. What did we have last year? Look at the chart behind me and you'll see we had 18 sales last year. So we're at 50% of actual townhouses sold during this exact same time period. Sales volume. What do we have in blue? You'll see that's 2019. We had 41 million in sales volume. That's a total amount of dollars sold in 2019, 41 million. Move over to 2020, same time period, 23.8, so 22.8, so 23 million. So what do you say? That's less than half of 19. Is that good or bad? Surprisingly, that means the prices of the properties, the average price of the townhouses that sold in 2020 is actually more expensive than it was in 2019. How much? 4.1% higher. So in the average sale price in 2019 was 2.33 million. The average sale price of the properties in the same period we're talking about this year was 2.63. Keep in mind that this data is still properties that may have been in contract or may have been negotiated in January and February, and likely is. So the true story will be told in July and August for what's happening right now. But I just want to let you know that that is the recorded data. Now let's move over to what's happening right now. What's happening right now? Last week we had 60 properties on the market. Normally we have 95. So a lot less properties on the market, 40 rough percent. Out of those 60 properties, 3 of them are gone. What happened to them? 2 went into contract, so they're off the market. 1 was pulled from the market. We really expected more properties to be on the market this week. They're coming. Only one property sold last week, and people are saying, and that was 242 West 132nd Street, and it sold, only one property, and it sold for $1.23 million. So you're probably saying, well, wow, the market's down. That's a low price, and only one property sold. Not so fast. 0 properties sold last week. Now we're talking about 1 week in 2019. This particular week, there were no closings. So this year, we had an increase. 1 property sold, but the sale price was low, 1.23 million. Why? It's an SRO, it's a shell, and it has no certificate of no harassment. It does not have one. So that is your lowest priced property anyway. So where are we going now? The properties that are on the market, who's discounting them? Last week we talked about the big discounts are in green. The properties between the 2 and 3 million range. So the properties between the 2 and 3 million range, 35 to 40% of those people, it fluctuates a little bit, as you can see the chart in green, of those properties, 35% to 40% of those sellers through this period have discounted their properties roughly now at the average of 16%. And guess what? That's the properties that are selling. So that's the largest number of properties with the 15 to 16% discounts, and they're moving. So if you're a buyer right now, that's the activity between $2 and $3 million. So that's it for the townhouse sales. We're going to have a webinar next week. We'll talk more about that at the end. Let's talk about condominiums next. Okay, let's talk about condos, my second favorite subject in Upper Manhattan. So the dates we're looking at again are March 15th to May 28th, realizing there's a slight drag with the closings being recorded, but it looks like they're being recorded on time. It's not hugely different than last year, even with the crisis. So what happened? In 2019, we had 49 properties in the blue. We had 49 properties close, condominiums in Upper Manhattan in this time period. In 2020, we're down to 25. So that is a 49% reduction in the amount of properties that closed, or the sales volume. Excuse me, the amount of properties that closed. Moving over to sales volume. Sales volume, we had 42 million in the blue in 2019. We're down this year, 2020, to 20 million. That is a 52% reduction. So we have pretty much half the townhouses on the market, but the sales volume is down even more than 50%. What does that tell you? That tells you that the average price of the condominium sold, unlike the townhouse market, is less expensive than the properties that sold a year ago. So we averaged it out for you. An average price of a condominium in 2019 to sell during this period, this specific COVID-19 period, was $863,000. The ones that are closing this year are $849,000. Not huge, about a 5.2% discount. So where are we now with the what's on the market? We had 224 on the market last week. We have 227 on the market this week. Some closed, some entered the market. I'm not going to get into all of that detail now. We'll get into that next week, or you can call our office or reach out at info@harlemlofts.com. So more properties are on the market. Not as many as we thought would be on the market. The increase isn't as high as we thought. And I have a couple of observations. Right now, it's taken longer to get a property on the market for the various reasons, but the most delay is getting a 3D floor plan, having a video, all these new things that are showing up on the public syndicating sites that they didn't even allow before. Now they're allowing them. So we've always done them. If you go to our website directly, you would see them. But if you go to some of the public sites that you're aware of, I'll say them, Zillow, StreetEasy, Realtor, Trulia, they didn't allow these. Now they're allowing them. So everyone's doing them. So they're backed up. The companies that do them are backed up, and it's taken longer to get a property on the market. So you will see more properties hit the market in the condo arena in the upcoming month, for sure, based on one man's observation. Now let's talk about rentals. Okay, let's talk about the rental market. My least favorite subject, but the rental market is a necessary evil, as is property management. So we do them. Rentals right now, what do we have here? Well, we have there's not a lot of public data on rentals, so I'll just tell you what's happening at our office. We have a lot of people, our management company, Harlem Property Management, a different company next door to us, they are seeing leases that are being broken. So there are leases being broken, mostly by students, people that have lost jobs and are not staying in New York. But what does that mean? So we have seen that, but I didn't expect this one. We have a lot of people calling to rent units in Manhattan. And here's where that base is coming from. This isn't public data. This is just real life. We have, so students are leaving, people losing jobs are leaving, people that can afford to leave the city and go to their second home are leaving, and some are renting their houses out. And then people, well, that's it for the people leaving. Who's coming in? Essential workers are coming in and renting for a year. We have a lot of doctors, international doctors, that are coming in, renting some nice properties because they're signing contracts with XYZ hospitals, a lot of those. And then we have This one, a lot of people that are sheltering in place after 12 weeks with their loved ones, we have them looking for additional space in Upper Manhattan, and that list seems to be growing. So there are a lot of people looking for rentals in the market. If you have a rental or if you need help renting your place out, feel free to reach out to us. We focus on not the cookie cutters. We only focus on the sexy townhouse and unique rental properties that we think are the most attractive. We don't do cookie cutters. Thank you. Okay, so let's close it out. This is going to close out week 11, maybe 12. It's May 29th. HarlemLofts.com. Go to HarlemLofts.com, go to our resource tab. If you're interested in our market reports that we've done for 11 years, if you're interested in our events that will soon be upcoming as soon as they allow us to, we're again renovating our offices in our yurt so that we can continue with the events to report on the market and educational events at our office. But we've added the webinar component, and so now if you go online to our website, you can sign up for different webinars, and then once we come up with the date, you'll get an automatic invitation. So I encourage you to do that. That's about it. Stay tuned for the weekly updates. We're creating this YouTube channel and all that stuff. I'm not sure all of the details, but if you go to our website, you will see that. And thanks for tuning in. Have a nice, safe weekend, and let's get back to work.